All right, family. We live with the general. You already know what time it is. A number five. You feel what I'm saying? We're gonna be talking about old Vladimir Putin, man, that went down and into the arsenal, the Russian arsenal, and pulled out a damn hypersonic missile and hit Kyiv the other day, man. I thought he nuked their ass. I said he didn't nuke them. Man, the explosion was so, man, the shit was like, it wasn't no regular fire. It looked like AI was almost unreal. It was like, I mean, the fire just looked at like, man, it had like 4D particles in it, man. It just looked like on a like one of them what is it 5D of TV screens. You see what I'm saying? Oh man, the shit was like, man, it was almost like a movie. You know what I'm saying? It was almost like a movie. And I say, oh, he done took the gloves off on Ukraine. You know, we've been saying this, but it just show you the level that they got to go to. You know what I'm saying? Because he sure ain't winning on the ground. You know, you still over there 5 years later, you still fighting. Vladimir, is it time? It's time for Vladimir to go and hang it up, man. Yeah, Vladimir, and yeah, you might as well just go on and hang it on up. You've been over there too long, man. And Vladimir did actually the opposite of what the United States did. Well, they went in there with ground forces, and they got whooped. They got whooped, man. They got whooped on the ground. You know what I'm saying? They got whooped. If they were what they say they were, they would have took it already. You know what I'm saying? You bomb, then you go on in. You see, you bomb and then you go on in. And shit, the United States, it might be in the same goddamn predicament. You know what I'm saying? Because they keep finagling with, like, you just don't know what to do. You know what I'm saying? And so it very well may be that, yeah, they got all these goddamn bombs, but people didn't learn how to, weather the storm. Now, you going to take some damage. You're going to take some damage. There's some damage being done over there now. It ain't too many buildings, and whatever little buildings they got, them motherfuckers hanging on by a thread. You see, they hanging on by a thread. That's for damn sure. You know what I'm saying? But you can rebuild. It's going to take a lot. You're going to need some help. You're going to need some friends, you know what I'm saying, to rebuild. That's for sure. But I guess you still got your nationality. I don't know how much that, because when you get ready to rebuild, that come with gifts and pledges. You see, yeah, that come with gifts and pledges. And so when people do something for you, they're gonna want something for that. If they help you build infrastructure and all of that, they're going to want something for that. You feel me? So, that's the thing with that. A lot of people waiting on that, to rebuild so they can get in there and get all them contracts, because they're going to be billions and billions and billions of dollars. Probably going to go into the trillions. It's going to take trillions of dollars to rebuild Ukraine. So whoever get in there and get them goddamn contracts, that's gonna be a future economy for somebody. But yeah, Vladimir getting up there in age. You know what I'm saying? He looking like one of them Muppets and shit. His face is puffy, and he looking, he ain't that young, Vladimir. He's up there, and age is setting in on his ass, and I know his legacy is setting in on him and shit, and they ready, they ready for a new leader. I'm quite sure they ready to get old Vladimir up out of there. He been in there too goddamn long. You see, he been in there too long, and Russia is really, even though, yeah, they got some bombs, they got some technology, but it ain't enough no more. You know what I'm saying? It's not enough. When it come to, it's culture and shit and this, that, and the third. Y'all don't, Russia don't have no vibrant, them Europeans, they don't have no vibrant culture. You see what I'm saying? And so China then took them over there. As far as that go, China then took over. They the vibrant culture. Even the Japanese, they getting old. They on a ticking time, a time bomb. They numbers is dwindling too. So Japan, it could, if they don't get their shit together, they're gonna go extinct over there because they got a negative birth rate. You know what I'm saying? So if they don't get their shit together, they're gonna go extinct. So China most definitely, but people talking about China. You know what I'm saying? They saying, yeah, China got a bubble. China got a bubble in its motherfucking population, where a large segment of their population gonna be over 50 years old. Yeah, a lot. So yeah, they got some young, but they're gonna have some old. A lot of them too, which is gonna put a dent. You gotta take care of them, and then do you have enough, youngin, you know what I'm saying, to do what's necessary to keep the infrastructure together and all of that. And so yeah, a lot of them, but you got Africa and black people in general, you feel me, is vibrant. The average age in Africa is under 20 years old. That's crazy, man. You know what I'm saying? And people can look at that. It's only bad if you're living in a Western society, but all that damn land in Africa, they still got enough to take care of everybody in Africa and outside of Africa. But they, Africa first, African people first. So they got more than enough. Is the fact to feed the Chinas and them Europeans and Asians and shit. They've been over there, and that's why they in there. And our people, I don't know, all of them ain't silly, but it's time to get these people up out of there. You know what I'm saying? Get the peoples up out of there. And if you got your peoples in the diaspora, they're gonna help you out. It's time to lend, your hand out there, because you're gonna need motherfucking friends too, whether you believe it or not. You see, you gonna need blood, and you gonna need allies. You see what I'm saying? No less than everybody. Everybody need allies. You see, when it come down to the get down, that's how you fold. When you ain't got nobody watching your back, and that's how you fold. That's how you fold, because they're gonna find a way. There is only one person they gotta topple, and a lot of people gonna find that they're gonna. A lot of times it be from the inside. You feel what I'm saying? But Vladimir most definitely hit Ukraine, and I say, oh my God, like damn, they don't. I hope they don't just. And they didn't told United States, take your ambassadors out of there. You know what I'm saying? Take your ambassadors out of there, and told the Europeans and people around the world that it's about to go down. You know what I'm saying? They've been saying that for, so I guess they about to up the ante and pull out some shit that damn near almost nuclear, and that's weak. If they'll just show you, man, motherfuckers can't get down. They don't know how to get down. That's what happened. Yeah, that's right. We got to look. That's why this is what it's about. We have to link up. That's what Malcolm X was all about. Yeah, he was about building our people here, but he was also about connecting our people with their family across this globe. That's what's going that's what's gonna lock it in. You see what I'm saying? That's what's gonna lock it in. That's how we was in the ancient world anyway. You see, when you look and see what you've done before, and how how you operated, and what was the what was the program that you used to be on top, then I mean you didn't done this shit before. This is not, but see, the thing is, too many of these Negroes have been bred by these Neanderthals, and they got a lot of deficiencies in them. a lot of deficiencies. And so you're gonna have to, it's gonna take a lot of breeding and shit, breeding this shit out of our people. You know what I'm saying? Breeding this shit about people. Too many of them got the love of the Neanderthal in their heart, or to the extent where they practice their religions, they practice their health initiative, which is no health initiative. You know what I'm saying? Synthetic shit. You go get the shot, every shot that they tell you to go get. So you got all type of viruses and shit running around manipulating, gene editing and shit all up in there, cutting your genes up, cutting your power out of your blood and shit, edit your gene where your damn babies don't, the new ones, if you unless they got some of your genes before you got edited, but if you didn't let them people put something in you and they didn't send them gene editing robots up in your ass, cut some of your DNA out, and then you understand you start breeding that type of shit. You know what I'm saying? So you dealing with, man, you dealing with a wicked, wicked ass world, but it still can't beat us. It still can't beat us. Once you connect to the cosmos, it's over. You see what I'm saying? All synthetic shit you gonna see through that shit. It ain't about no, you don't need you the original, not the digital. You feel me? You don't need none of that shit. I didn't crack AI, man. That shit ain't shit. Yeah, they got some, but the information still is your information that they trying to put up in there and use. But the thing is, it can't think on its feet. Is nothing but information that then been stored, answers that then, to questions that then already been asked, but it cannot think on its feet. You see what I'm saying? And that's the reality. We can create from this original source, where it's regurgitating shit that didn't already been said on the internet. So we have to understand that and connect to the universe. But we're going to see what Vladimir Putin is going to do. It's about time for him to go and throw in the towel over there. I mean, you ain't won. What you going to do? You've been an embarrassment over there, Vladimir. It don't take that. They're just like y'all was in Afghanistan. And you had to roll out of Afghanistan embarrassed with all your goddamn tanks and shit still over there. They use that shit for museums and shit to show you that you got your ass kicked in Afghanistan. So I mean, really the same way. Y'all, that Russian army is not built. You know what I'm saying? It's not built to, like the United States. It's just not. And the United States ain't what it used to be. Because they're acting scared to do shit. You know what I'm saying? So that might be proof that they asses is going down too. But anyway, family, I'll see y'all in a minute. We got one more video for tonight. I want y'all black here. Get over there to Patreon, click that link, and come right black and let's work out, family. Let's work out. All right, family. Black Pop.